Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you, ma'am. Good afternoon. I am Rogin Feliciano Bahoyo, the first reporter of our group. So, our topic is all about the consumer behavior. So, what is consumer behavior? Consumer behavior refers to the study of how individuals, groups, or organizations select, purchase, use, or dispose of goods, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy their needs and desires. It involves understanding various factors that influence consumers' decision-making processes, including psychological, social, cultural, economic, and situational factors. Consumer behavior encompasses a wide range of activities from the initial to the evaluations of alternatives to the actual purchase decisions and finally post-purchase behavior such as satisfaction and repeat purchases. Marketers often study consumer behavior to better understand their target audience and develop strategies to effectively reach and engage with them. Meaning, consumer behavior is essentially the study of how individuals or groups go about making decisions related to the buy, use, or get rid of. This process involves choosing products, services, ideas, or experiences that they believe will satisfy their needs and wants. These decisions are influenced by a variety of factors, including their personal preferences, how they perceive things, their attitudes and beliefs, what motivates them, and cultural context they live in. And that's all my report.
Good day, ma'am. Good day, everyone. I am Christine Istumocon, BSBA MM3, and I will be reporting about characterizing consumer behavior. So, there are two important factors to consider: consumer opportunities and consumer utility preferences. Consumer opportunities are the set of goods and services that consumers can afford to consume, or what people can buy. This is all about what kinds of things people have the money to buy. It's like looking at a big store and seeing what you can actually afford to take home. If something is too expensive or not available where you live, then it's not an option for you. This part is about figuring out what choices people have based on how much money they have and what's available to them. Example: John, who lives in the Pitan, decides he needs a new smartphone. After evaluating his finances, he determines he has a budget of 15,000 pesos. This budget sets consumer opportunities. It means he can only consider smartphones that are priced within or below his budget. High-end models that are priced significantly higher are not within his reach. So the Philippine market offers a variety of brands and models, including options from local brands like Cherry Mobile as well as international brands that offer budget models such as Realme. Consumer utility preferences to determine what are the particular goods will be consumed or what people want to buy. Once people know what they can buy, the next question is what they actually want to get. This is about what makes someone happy or satisfied with their purchase. Everyone likes different things. Some might prefer a new phone, while others might want a book or a toy. So this choice depends on what the person enjoys, what what their friends or family think is cool, or what makes them feel good. So let's get back to John. Example, let's get back to John. With his budget range, John now needs to decide which smartphone to buy based on his preferences. John is an avid photographer and loves taking pictures on his trips around the Pitan. Therefore, he prioritizes camera quality in his decision-making process. He also wants a phone with a good battery life as he often spends long hours outdoors. After researching and comparing models, John might lean toward a Xiaomi or Realme smartphones, known for its superior camera quality capabilities and battery life within his budget, even if it means compromising on other features like screen size or processor speed. So in this scenario, John's budget of 15,000 determined his consumer opportunities by limiting the range of smartphones he could consider buying in the Philippines. Then his specific needs for high quality photography and long battery life guided his choice, illustrating how consumer utility preferences play a crucial role in deciding the product to purchase. This example highlights the importance of both factors in understanding consumer behavior in understanding consumer behavior. So in simple terms, consumer opportunities is about what you're able to buy with your money, and the consumer utility preferences is about choosing what you really like from those options.
Good day everyone and good day mom. I am Jonalyn Aloni and my topic is all about the 4 basic properties of consumer preferences. The first one is completeness. This property asserts that consumer can compare and rank all possible bundles of goods. In simple terms, it means that consumers can express their preferences clearly. They can say, for instance, whether they prefer having more apples and fewer oranges or more oranges and fewer apples, or if they are indifferent between the two. The next one is transitivity. Transitivity is an essential property that helps to ensure that consumer preferences are logically consistent. It's stated there that if a consumer prefers a bundle A to bundle B and bundle B to bundle C, then they must also prefer bundle A to bundle C. This principle prevents inconsistencies in consumer preferences, allowing economists to model and predict consumer behavior more accurately. The third one is non-satiation. Non-satiation reflects the idea that consumers always prefer more of a good to less. In other words, having more of a good always makes a consumer better off. This concept underpins the basic assumptions in economics that people have insatiable ones. It implies that consumers continuously seek to increase their consumptions given the opportunity, and the desire for more goods or services influence their decision making. The last one is convexity, suggests that consumers prefer a mix of goods to an all or nothing choice. In practical terms, this means that consumers generally prefer variety in their consumptions. For example, they might prefer a balanced diet with fruits, vegetables, grains, and proteins, rather than consuming only one type of good. These preferences for variety influences how consumers allocate their resources and can have implications for market demand and pricing strategies. So that's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Arnil P. Makiling, and my topic would be how changes in price and income influence individuals' opportunities. So first are changes in price. So what can we say about changes in price? When the price of a good increases, it becomes relatively more expensive compared to the other goods, leading consumers to substitute it with cheaper alternatives. So when we say changes in price, when that kind of product is changes or was innovate or upgrade in a new item or new product, it will become more expensive. So the other customers will be they will be stick on that kind of product that more cheaper than the other more expensive. So in that kind of individuals opportunities, it will be affect to the customers to buy because it will once the for example, if the coffee is for example, the coffee is more expensive than the other the coffee, but the taste is almost the same. So the person who would like to buy a coffee still was still using the cheaper alternatives of coffee that it's almost the same on the coffee. So the next would be changes in income. What do we say with changes in income? An increase in income expands the consumer budget constraints, allowing them to purchase more goods and services. Conversely, decrease in income constrains their purchasing power. So which means that when a consumer's income increases, they have more disposable income to spend on goods and services. This expansion of their budget constraints allows them to purchase more or high quality of goods or services than before. So they might also choose to save some of their additional income or invest it. So that would be my report. Thank you.
So, good day, ma'am. My name is Lizelle Pacaro, and this is my part report. So, explain the consumer equilibrium point where marginal rates of substitution is equal to the ratio of price of two goods. So, consumer equilibrium point where marginal rates of substitution or MRS equal the price ratio to the two goods. So at the consumer equilibrium, the consumer maximize utility given their budget constraint. This occur where the marginal rates of substitution or MRS, the rate at which the consumer is willing to exchange one good for another, is equal to the ratio of price of the two goods. So a consumer equilibrium is the point where a consumer achieves the highest satisfaction within their budget constraints. At this juncture, the rates at which they are willing to substitute between two goods match the ratio of their price. So, in essence, this is where consumer allocated their spending to maximize utility, ensuring that the additional satisfaction gained from consuming one or more unit of goods equal to the additional cost of that unit relative of the other goods. Thank you.
How change in price of a good or goods creates substitution effects and income effects to a consumer. So, substitution effects defines when the price of a good decreases, consumers tend to buy more of that goods and less of relatively more expensive goods, substituting towards the cheaper option. So, substitution effect is when the price of the goods are decreases. Now people prefer to buy those less cost goods than the expensive ones. So next is the income effect. So it defines a decrease in the price of a good increases the consumer's purchasing power, effectively increasing their real income. This allows them to buy more of both the cheaper goods and other goods, leading to a further increase in consumption. So, unlike substitution effect, income effect doesn't dictate what kind of goods does the consumer will buy. So, income effects is based on the changes in income. So, consumer will buy expensive goods when they have higher income. If less income, so they will prefer to buy cheaper goods. So income effects, the consumer in the income effects, may purchase more expensive goods with lesser quantities or cheaper goods with higher quantities.
In consumer behavior, there are four traditional models. One is learning model of consumer behavior. Learning model focuses on how individuals acquire new behaviors through experiences and interactions with their environment. Ang individuals is maka-learn o sila og new behaviors pinaagi sa ilang interactions o experiences sa ilahang palibot. Learning model of consumer behavior is buyers are driven to satisfy basic needs required for survival like foods and needs learned from live experiences like fear or guilt. The learning model of consumer behavior suggests that buyers are motivated by both basic needs such as foods, shelter, and safety, as well as learned needs stemming from experiences like fear or guilt. This learning process involves acquiring knowledge and behaviors through personal experiences, social interactions, and marketing stimuli.
This pyramid is part of the topic, which is the learning model. This pyramid is known to be the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow subsequently extended the idea to include his observations of humans' innate curiosity. His theories parallel many other theories of human development psychology, some of which focus on describing the stages of growth in humans. He then created a classification system that reflected the universal needs of society as its base and then proceeding to more acquired emotions. The hierarchy of needs is split between efficiency needs and growth needs. This hierarchy is the main base in knowing how effort and motivation are correlated when discussing human behavior. Each of these individual levels contains a certain amount of internal sensation that must be met in order for an individual to complete their hierarchy. The goal in Maslow's hierarchy is to attain the fifth level or stage, the self-actualization. Psychological needs are the base of the hierarchy. These needs are the biological component of human survival. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, psychological needs are factored in internal motivation. According to Maslow's theory, humans are compelled to satisfy psychological needs first in order to pursue higher levels of intrinsic satisfaction. In order to advance higher level in Maslow's hierarchy, psychological needs must be met first. This means that if a person is struggling to meet their psychological needs, they are unwilling to seek safety, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization on their own. Example of psychological needs are air, water, food, sex, sleep, clothes, and shelter. Second, safety needs. Once a person's psychological needs are relatively satisfied, their safety needs takes precedence and dominate behavior. In the absence of physical safety, like due to war, natural disaster, family violence, childhood abuse, and etc., and or in the absence of economic safety due to an economic crisis and lack of work opportunities. These safety needs manifest themselves in ways such as preference for job security, grievance procedures for protecting the individual from unilateral authority, saving accounts, insurance policies, disability accommodations, and etc. This level is more likely to predominate in children as they generally have a greater need to feel safe. It includes shelter, job security, health, and safe environments. If a person does not feel safe in an environment, they will seek safety before attempting to meet any higher level of survival. Safety needs includes health, personal security, emotional security, and financial security. Belonging needs. After psychological and safety needs are fulfilled, the third level of human needs is interpersonal and involves feelings of belongingness. According to Maslow, humans possess an effective need for a sense of belonging and acceptance among social groups, regardless of whether these groups are large or small. For example, some large social groups may include clubs, co-workers, religious groups, professional organizations, sports teams, gangs, and online communities. Some examples of small social connections include family members, intimate partners, mentors, colleagues, and confidants. Humans need to love and be loved, both sexually and unsexually, by others. Many people become susceptible to loneliness, social anxiety, and clinical depression in the absence of this love or belonging element. This need is especially strong in childhood and it can override the need for safety as witnessed in children who cling to abusive parents. Deficiencies due to hospitalism, neglect, shunning, ostracism, or etc. can adversely affect the individual's ability to form and maintain emotional significant relationship in general. Example of social belonging needs are family, friendship, and intimacy. This need for belonging may overcome the psychological and security needs, depending on the strength of the peer pressure. In contrast, for some individuals, the need for self-esteem is more important than the need for belonging, and for others, the need for creative fulfillment may supersede even the most basic needs. STEAM needs. Most people have a need for stable STEAM, meaning which is soundly based on real capacity or achievement. Maslow noted two versions of STEAM needs. The lower version of the STEAM is the need for respect from others and may include a need for status, recognition, fame, prestige, and attention. The higher version of STEAM is the need for self-respect and can include a need for strength, competence, mastery, self-confidence, independence, and freedom. The higher version takes guidelines, the hierarchies are interrelated rather than sharply separated. This means that STEAM and the subsequent levels are not strictly separated. Instead, the levels are closely related. Self-actualization. The growth of self-actualization refers to the need for personal growth and discovery that is present throughout a person's life. For Maslow's, a person is always becoming and never remains static in these terms. In self-actualization, a person comes to find a meaning to life that is important to them. For some people, self-actualization can be achieved through creating works of arts or literature. For others, through sports, in the classrooms, or within a corporate setting. Maslow believed self-actualization could be measured through the concept of peak experience. This occurs when a person experiences the world totally for what it is, and there are feelings of euphoric, joy, and wonder. It is important to note that self-actualization is a continual process of becoming rather than a perfect state one reaches of a happily ever after. Although we are all theoretically capable of self-actualizing, most of us will not do so, or only to a limited degree. Maslow estimated that only 2% of people would reach the state of self-actualization. He was especially interested in the characteristic of people whom he considered to have achieved their potential as individuals.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Janice Winasha. Now we will proceed to the other traditional consumer behavior model, the psychoanalytical model of consumer behavior. Individuals, consumers, have deep-rooted motives, both conscious or unconscious, that drive them to make a purchase. This means that when people decide to buy something, there are often underlying reasons motivating their decisions, which can be either known to them conscious or hidden beneath their awareness unconscious. These motives can be diverse and complex, including factors like personal desires, emotional needs, cultural influence. Could be the someone who consciously buying a certain brand of coffee because they enjoy the taste and aroma, while unconsciously seeking a sense of familiarity in that brand, perhaps it reminding them of memories or experiences. The traditional consumer behavior model, a sociological model of consumer behavior. Purchases are influenced by an individual's place within different societal groups, family, friends, and work groups. This means that an individual's purchasing decisions are affected their position with various societal groups, including family, friends, and work groups. The opinions, perspectives, and influence of them people on an individual can significantly impact their decisions when buying a product. Example, in a circle of friends, a person might prefer a particular brand of t-shirt because it's popular among their circle of friends, even if there are other brands that are better quality and more stylish. It can be a way for them to signal or to show their social identity or aspiration to others.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Arnold G. Quino, last reporter of this group, and my part of this report is economic model of consumer behavior. The economic model of consumer behavior is a way to understand and analyze how individuals make choices regarding the goods and services they consume. It is based on the assumption that consumers are rational decision makers who aim to maximize their satisfaction or quality. To begin with, consumers have preferences for different goods and services, which can be represented by a utility function. This function assigns a level of quality or satisfaction to different combinations or qualities of goods and services. For example, a consumer may derive more utility from consuming a higher quality of one good compared to another. The economic model of consumer behavior provides insight into how consumers respond to changes in prices, income, and other factors. It helps economists and policy makers understand consumer choices and predict how changes in economic conditions may impact consumer behavior. At the same time, consumers have limited budget and face prices for goods and services they wish to consume. This creates a budget contained which presents the total amount of money that consumer can spend on goods and services. The, the consumer the consumer goals is to allocate that maximize their quality.